Good evening, race fans, and as the late, great King Leonidas said, this is Sparta. We are here in Sparta, Kentucky, at the Kentucky Speedway, and this is CRN's live coverage of the CORE Xfinity Series, race number 4 for the boys here. And last week, a bit of a rough one at Indianapolis, but I expect it to turn around here a little bit at Kentucky. A nice little, as some might say, a cookie cutter track. It's a 1.5 mile tri-oval, but not too much banking here compared to some of the other tri-ovals, compared to like your Kansas or especially your Las Vegas. Here only 17 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, and only 14 degrees in 3 and 4. So a little bit more of a tire eater here is Kentucky, but nice and flowy, and you know, the front stretch is flatter, and it makes that transition down to the apron, if you so choose to go down there, a little bit smoother, and obviously the transition back up on the track a little bit smoother as well. So hopefully provides for some good racing. Carl Hamwick joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, back out here again, race number 4. Some pretty good races for the first 2. Last week a little bit of a clunker, but Kentucky's a good little track here.
Yeah, Kentucky's one of those tracks I like to run on, believe it or not. It's the tri-oval thing, but definitely a little bit longer than that 1 mile mark. So yeah, looking forward to the great racing here tonight underneath the lights.
Absolutely going to be a nice one here. 80 laps on tap for the boys here at the CORE Xfinity Series, just underway right now for qualifying. You take care of one more thing here real quick, as need to get somebody on chat band here, and we'll do that right now. All right, there we go. But a good-sized field out here again. Over 25 drivers is set to take the green flag here tonight, and back in action, last season's silver division champion, that is Kevin Foster, and then certainly I know a fan favorite out there for a lot of drivers. But good to see Kevin back out here, taking just a little bit of a mini hiatus, a little bit of a mini summer break, but joining the crew back here. And 15 races in the regular season, Jimmy, before we get to the playoffs, but 3 drop races. So I mean, realistically, Kevin didn't miss anything. Realistically, anybody that had a rough first 3 races, really nothing lost.
Yeah, nothing lost, just no benefit of being able to mess up at all. Just those 3 weeks that could basically be erased, and just work his way up through the field and still contend for yet another championship. So, will he come back more than just tonight? So I'm sure the fans out there will be looking forward to seeing Mr. Kevin Foster out on the track and be rooting him on.
We'll take a look at those point standings after the first 3 races, and new name at the top. That is Daniel Wiles, after a good finish last week. And Alan Elwood and a couple of the others towards the top had a bit of a rough one, but Daniel Wiles is going to be leading the point standings here, and the overall and the Platinum Division by 10 over Alan Elwood, 18 over Josh Van Westen, and then Mike Moultrie is going to be there, 23 points back, as well as Josh Van Westen still hasn't established his division just quite yet. Over in the silver division, David Tilford, I didn't see him in the field here tonight, so maybe not going to make it here tonight, but he is your division leader coming into tonight. 6 over AJ Connors and 7 over Tyler Bramble. And then in the bronze, it is Matt Crockett, which another one, I'm not sure if he's actually going to be here tonight, and may end up having to give up the entire season, as he may be putting in some coaching help there, and maybe the head coach for his son's team and football. So I don't blame him. I guess it's a little more important getting out there and coaching your kid than it is out here virtually racing. But he is your points leader with 8 points over Joe Thomas and 9 over Dan Phelps. But Jimmy, we are done with qualifying. Why don't you give us a rundown of our order tonight?
Yeah, quick rundown of where everybody will stand at start tonight as we take on this track here, good old 80 laps here at Kentucky. And up there on the pole will be Daniel Wiles, followed by Garrett Pick, Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, Craig Jancic, Chase Stewart, Diego Remy, Mike Moultrie, James C. Wright, and Shane Therian for your top 10. Then Bryce Rayner, Josh Van Westen, Tyler Kokeko, Dan Phelps, Caleb Collins, Kevin Foster, AJ Connors, Tyler Bramble for your top 18, and followed behind them will be John Williams Sr., Jeremy Gainey, Joseph Thomas, John Crane, Tony Bramble, Peyton Strickland, Cody Jacobs, and Casey Phelps for 26 drivers on the field here tonight.
They got a nice sized field, only 3 guys not putting any time in there with Peyton Strickland, Cody Jacobs, and Casey Phelps. But Peyton not allowed to from the penalties from last week, so I would certainly keep an eye on that 200 coming through the field all the way from back there in 14th position. He's certainly got some speed, and he was at least for a brief moment, if not finishing up top there. On top of the boards in practice, so he's got some speed out here tonight at Kentucky. But it is your points leader overall, and I believe at least for a long time, first time on pole there for Daniel Wiles. He may have had it quite a few seasons back at this point, but good to see that 48 now. Maybe a little shot in the arm from last week at Indy, surviving the melees there, gets him to the top of the point standings, and gives him a little bit of confidence maybe coming in here, and he sets that car on the pole. His teammate Moultrie back there in 8th place, but good look at this track right here, and it is a beauty. It's great under the lights here. I know Kansas is the unofficial home of CORE, but this is just it's a nice track, and it really looks good under the lights. Maybe it's the green walls, maybe they just pop, and I'm not sure what it is, but I really like the look here of Kentucky here under the lights.
Yeah, it's I don't know, something about the track here at night. It really does pop. It gives a great presentation of these cars and the paint jobs that these drivers have. So they painted themselves, or what I found one of the paint shops out there get themselves a very nice paint here to just kind of be something to be proud of. A lot of times we talk about all the nice paint jobs out there, and there's a lot of time that can be put in developing something that somebody's proud of wearing around these tracks. Yeah,
some of these guys probably put in more time on their paint scheme than they do actually on the track, and sometimes that shows as well. So we'll see how this works out. It looks like we're getting a little mixed up here. Is some late movement there from Moultrie, but he gets up there in position, and it is going to be in the hands of Barney to drop the green flag here at Kentucky. It's going to be 80 laps on tap, waiting for that green flag, and it is waving. We are racing here in Kentucky.
And we're going to get a green flag out there as the 44 gets a nice jump up on the outside. I say 44, but I mean the 440 of Garrett Pick trying to get out front. Nico Garcia there in P number 2. Alan Elwood you see back there in P number 4, so it's kind of the first time we've seen Alan Elwood not starting this thing right from the front.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, starting way back there in 3rd position as we got a car sideways on the front stretch, and it looked like it was the 114 of James Seawright, and luckily for him, he doesn't reach all the way down to that white line of pit lane, but he is going to be all the way towards the back of the pack now. We'll try and take a look and see what happened to him coming off of the corner. And maybe a little self-induced there. Looked like he was on the apron there a little bit, but the 82 right there in front of him, sideways a little bit, and maybe it caused him to just kind of turn a little bit more, and well, that never helps right there. A big blink out from the 14, and I'm guessing some net code, some phantom contact then with the 82 is what's going to send him sideways and in the grass. But like I said, I mean, it may not sound big, but I mean, at least he didn't get down there in the pit lane, get that penalty. He's going to start from the back regardless, but it feels good to at least avoid something there. And really, even though there was phantom contact, it looks like the car is clean, and everyone's going to get away from that one and be able to rejoin this thing with some fresh cars.
Yeah, everybody loves a fresh car.
Certainly, probably would wish that 114 had some fresh tires on it for sure, as a long slide there. And even though it was in the grass, it's going to wear those tires down a little bit. But quite a few takers here, and quite a few even from just inside the top 10 or just outside, coming in and topping off on fuel. Obviously, nobody willing to take tires at this point, as they shouldn't. It's way too early, and even with the 114, you don't want to waste one of those 2 sets of tires in the pits. But it is going to be Garrett Pick now at the front. He is going to be the control car here. Nico Garcia, Daniel Wiles drops back to 3rd. Alan Elwood, Greg Jancic, Chase Stewart are going to be your top 6. Then Mike Moultrie, Diego Remy, Bryce Reiner, and Tyler Kokeko are going to round out your top 10 here. And hopefully this is not a warning of things to come here with netcode. I mean, Kentucky's not one of those tracks that at least I know of and remember of running here and having any kind of netcode issues. There's certain tracks that you go to that it's more prevalent, and if anybody has any kind of weak internet or weak connection issues, anything like that, they really kind of crop up. But Kentucky typically not one of those tracks that causes too many issues.
Normally, just maybe some early race jitters by some of the drivers, and just obviously that it's right there. Just hopefully one of few tonight as they are trying to make up for last week's race.
Some more guys coming into pit lane and topping off on fuel again here, but should be 2 to go until we get the green flag here and we'll get this thing back underway. But yeah, a bit of a mix-up at the front of the pack, as as Jimmy mentioned. Typically, we're used to seeing that 5 at the front of the field, as it seems like he's stretched out quite a few poles, even dating back to last season. But he had the first 3 poles this season, first 2 converted to wins. But then last weekend in Indianapolis, it was the guy that's leading right now, Garrett Pick, that was able to grab the win on the night. But it was good enough finishes throughout all these races. No wins, but good enough finishes for Daniel Wiles to get up there and grab the top spot in the points, as last week Alan Elwood only able to muster a 19th place finish, and that may be a career low here in CORE for the 5 team. So looking to bounce back in the top 5 right now, and still plenty early here, as should be getting the 1 to go for Marty this time by.
Yeah, lights off should be this time by as they work their way down past the start-finish line. And yeah, you can see all those lights going off on that pace car here as everybody now doubles up, getting ready to go back to green and get this thing back underway here tonight at Kentucky.
Looks like there might have been some issues for the 17 of Casey Phelps between internet and iRacing, and he may end up being done for the night here. So anybody that's out here wondering what's going on with the 17, that is why he is out of the race right now. Joe Thomas is apparently looks like he is out of the race as well. Peyton Strickland came into the pits a couple times. He kind of towed back to the pits at one point, so I'm not sure what's going on with the 200. But he is now 2 laps down. So the long night that was going to be from starting in the back of the field is going to be even longer now, 2 laps down. So he's going to need a couple caution to get back up in the mix of this thing. But Garrett Pick at the front of this field is going to be controlling this restart. He's got Nico Garcia on the outside, Daniel Wiles and Alan Elwood in the second row. Third row is going to be Craig Jancic and Chase Stewart as they round turn 3 and 4. The pace car going to pull off to the left this time by. It's going to be in the hands and feet of Garrett Pick to drop that hammer.
Taking our time going to get these things underway as they get in that and Geico restart range as Garrett Pick gets on the loud pedal and makes a nice jump start over the rest of the field there to get back out front to start this thing off again.
Yeah, very nice restart there for the 440. And we have another caution at the back of the field. And this time it involves Foster here. We'll take a look and see what exactly happened. Oh, the 039. Looks like he checked up a little bit going into the corner. Take a look at that one more time.
Damn, downshifted, almost like he missed the shift or something, Carl.
Yeah, we'll try and take a look at that one more time and hop on board.
Yeah, you see the fire coming off the right side of the car there, which would mean indicator of lifting off the gas or shifting.
Yeah, lifts off the gas going in there, and it's definitely on the reset there. You don't need to lift off the gas. So that is going to involve quite a few cars here. It involves the 8 of Kevin Foster, the 3 of Shane Therian, and sounds like the 039 having some trouble getting it back into gear, but he will get it spun back around multiple times here before he gets back going. But it also looked like it involved the 11 of John Crane as well. So let's take a look at some of these cars, and 8 definitely has some front end damage on his car. The 3 got a little rear damage, certainly poked in there in the back, but this is a fast track here, but you know, little things like that, is it worth taking that fast repair this early for something that's, you know, kind of minor like that?
I mean, at least coming down here, you know, they can, you know, coming down that first time here to maybe assess the situation, the top off on fuel if you have your auto repair off, you know, and if you know you got big damage on there, unless it's a meatball, you know, if it's something big, Carl, maybe like just like 4 or 5 minutes, you know, it's gonna take a while here, but with, you know, if this thing gets into one of these caution roller coasters that obviously the drivers do not like, you know, they'll come in the second time they come around, take that fast repair, so they can get back out there and have a fighting chance. But you know, if they're having multiple cautions tonight, it's just something that the drivers will have to always come down every chance they get to try to get the car repaired in order to battle. When it is early, there's plenty of laps still remaining. As you know, we're only on lap 8 of 80, you know, and only about 2 or 3 laps under green here, so not a good ratio so far here tonight for these drivers.
Yeah, and hopefully it's just the jitters and maybe a little overlay from last week, and we'll get this thing cleaned up and get it back going. As one thing that does happen pretty quickly here is that the laps do click off pretty quickly here, even under caution, as we're already on lap number 8 of 80, so a tenth of the way already through this thing. But out front, really nothing has changed, because we didn't have too long of a green flag run there, but it is Pick, Garcia, Wiles, Elwood, and Jancic, your top 5 here. And then you got Stewart, Moultrie, Remy, Reiner, and Kokeko rounding out your top 10. So, I mean, if you're one of these drivers out here, Jimmy, especially one of these drivers at the front, you have 2 sets of tires in the pits. I mean, with the thoughts of last week and how many cautions there were, and now already 2 cautions here before lap 10. Again, does it change your strategy at all? Do you start thinking of, you know, maybe taking that first set of tires a little bit earlier than you really want to? You don't have that many laps, you know, under green right now and stressing those tires, but maybe instead of waiting until, you know, closer to lap 40, do you decide to take a set a little bit earlier, or does it go the opposite way? Do you decide to, you know, kind of take a set a little bit later, maybe on lap like 50, and just keep that other set in the bank for maybe the last 20 laps or so?
I mean, it all depends on the driver's decision on, you know, what they want to do. So, I mean, it's really early to kind of make any drastic calls. So, we'll see kind of how things play out, and we'll just keep an eye out on some of the drivers, especially drivers like Kevin Foster that has been involved so early.
So Joe Thomas is back out here on the track, and he should be getting a wave around this time by as a pace car that should go out. You can of course see him blinking out there for a second, so hopefully his gets cleaned up here. But Joe Thomas is going to get the wave around. This was it was good news for Peyton Strickland, as he was able to get one of those 2 laps back, and now he is in you know, still in that lucky dog position, 1 lap down, as John Crane going to get out in front of the field here. He's going to bring it back around, and let's see, looks like he is going to keep it out of pits this time by, and he's going to rejoin the field here. But we still got 23 guys on the lead lap. Peyton Strickland 1 lap down. Joe Thomas now back to 3 laps down. Casey Phelps again has been having some internet and iRacing issues. He is most likely out of this race here tonight. 9 laps down there in 26th, but again, nice size field here, over 25 cars. So hopefully all 25 can get this thing rolling here a little bit, get some green flag running in here, and really showcase what Kentucky can put on, as we're going to get started here. Already 10 laps in the book, and don't want to see this thing go too much more under yellow. We want to see these guys get some racing.
I'd love to see some racing here tonight, as much as, here, pick up there and enjoying the nice, free, easy laps led here so far, but I'm sure he would love to showcase his skills on track at full speed.
As they will approach the Geico restart zone, it's in control by Pick, and he is back on the loud pedal. We are racing again at Kentucky. Good start from the inside line. Pick's going to get a good jump, and Wiles going to get to the inside here of Moultrie as they head off into turn number 1.
Yeah, off in the turn line he goes with a nice jump start there, and they are 2 by 2 behind as these drivers will shuffle around, try to make things happen. And obviously the drivers in the back that got involved are going to want to come up through as quickly as possible. So maybe some aggressive driving by some of them drivers, as some 2 wide, maybe even possible 3 wide, but it looks like Tyler Piquet at number 37. We're going to go ahead and tuck it back in.
Yeah, it looked like it was 3 wide, and it's still looking like Kokeka wants to take that thing 3 wide back there, as this is the battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th. And Kokeka looking for a way around both Van Westen and Seawright, but not finding it just yet. As Van Westen going to dive to the inside here of the 114. Remember, the 114 involved in that first caution, spinning through the grass. Already back up to 10th, and almost involved in another caution right there as he comes off the corner, gets very close to Van Westen, but we will stay green and stay clean so far here on the restart. And it is going to be Garrett Pick out front, side-by-side battling back here for 11th, as Kokeka on the outside of Van Westen, and Van Westen trying to get to the inside here of Seawright. And this, Jimmy, the one thing that cautions can do is it can make you a little bit more aggressive, and you're worried about more cautions coming out, and you got to get those positions maybe a little bit quicker than you want to. I don't think we're seeing full aggression just yet, but some good battling back here for sure.
It's a great battle. We talked about the middle of the pack being one of the hardest places to kind of make things happen, as they, those drivers are, trying to improve their lap times and racecraft, and it's just a really tough part of the track to be, no matter where you're at. So if you're a faster car, you have to get behind this pack, then it really can be a handful. But some action up here up front. I think 2 wide there. For P number 2, as Wiles is there on the outside of Pico Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia to the inside here. Still side by side as Pick slides down in front, controlling this thing from the front. But now Wiles gets a really good run off the corner to the outside for the lead. Looks like just by a smidge. Going to be Wiles there at the line, working that outside or that middle line as Therian comes back out of the pits. That damage must have been a little bit more than he wanted to drive around with, as he comes in there and now back out on the track, but he is 2 laps down. Side by side for first, side by side for third, and Moultrie trying to get up here in the mix as well. Top 5, throw a blanket over him right now as we cross the line to complete 16 laps.
And Wiles able to get around Pick for the lead here, using that high side. He's going to continue to run that line, just kind of making sure to come down to that bottom of that track and make sure that 44 doesn't get a run. When you can Garcia out to the outside now.
Bit of a bump there.
Ooh, a shoulder check there by Moultrie. But able to keep things clean green here, as he works his way to the outside of that 440, looking to take away P number 3.
Bit of a gap developing here from the top 8 back to 9th place, as Reiner just trying to hold on to the back of this field right now, as he is in 8th place. And then you got to look back a little bit ways to Seawright, who leads this second pack here in 9th place. And you see back there Van Westen and Kokeka still going at it. Now Van Westen to the inside of the 82 of Remy, and maybe 3 wide coming off the corner. Kokeka keeping it tight. He is going to try and once again make a pass on Van Westen. Man, I think we need a camera just on these guys here tonight, the way it looks here. Some more battling on lap number 19.
And throwing some picture-in-picture in his broadcast if we could, but right now they're definitely battling. You think these drivers here are battling for the lead. This is that mid-pack that we're talking about as the 3 goes super wide there.
Yeah, number 3 did come in and get his car cleaned up here and back out on the track, so he is trying to get back up through here, maybe get a lap back the hard way and have a chance at getting in that lucky dog position. So not battling for position, but battling to try and get back up through the field as he gets cut off there a little bit. Now makes an aggressive move to the inside of Remy, heading off into turn number 3. We'll take a look back up front. It is still Daniel Wiles as it's stretched out a little more single file now at the front. Wiles, Garcia, Moultrie, Elwood, and pick your top 5. And then you got Chase Stewart, Craig Jancic, and Bryce Reiner, that Acorn breakaway at the front.
Yeah, I think that up front here and now these drivers know that they're kind of, if you look in your rearview mirror, obviously you got a second pack forming up, and they've also kind of single file. Just I was about to talk, say they're gonna keep things single file and keep things going and pull away from that second group. The 50-point Inigo Garcia dives down to the inside. Just to edge out. Looks like he was going to get the lead there for that one, as Wiles is still up on that high side.
Now teammate battle here as Moultrie goes to the inside, and he's been one of the biggest movers of the race. This is the pass now for second, moves him up 6 spots here, and he is the biggest mover currently. Next in line for that title is Jeremy Gainey, doing a good job out here tonight. Up 5 spots, started back there in 20th. He is up to 15th. And then AJ Connors back here in 13th, and had a great view of this battle, which is back now in Van Weston's favor. And Kopeko back into 12th, but AJ Connors up here, up 4 positions in 13th. So all in all, I mean, not really crazy big movers one way or another, but we've got a battle for the lead up front, and Moultrie trying to go up 7 spots and try and take over this lead after starting in 8th.
And we've talked to Moultrie a few times this season so far, and really trying to get back on track, getting that 84 out to the front and taking that winning position, and Wiles, being able to have the consistent runs, being able to take away that points lead, not winning anything so far this season, but just so far the most consistent driver of the 3 races that have been completed. So his teammates up there doing his thing. I'm sure those 2 drivers are talking and seeing what works for each of them, as Moultrie is not out front over Nico Garcia, Daniel Wiles, and Alan Elwood.
Yeah, and just like Elwood, last week was not a great race for the 84 of Moultrie, finishing back there in 24th after starting in 4th. Obviously, Elwood starting on the pole and finishing 19th, so both of those guys top of the points coming into the race and taking some major falls here. And again, these drivers have 3 drop races. I'm sure that's probably going to end up being a drop race for both those drivers, but back up at the front here, doing some more battling. Moultrie in the lead, Elwood there in 3rd, separated just by Nico Garcia right there in 2nd place. And then Garrett Pick trying to get his feet back under him. He's back up now into 4th as Wiles slips back, not just to 5th, but he is getting now passed for 5th by Chase Stewart, who's starting to come alive here a little bit in the late half of this run, as is Craig Jancic from the back here. So these guys saving a little bit of tires to make a late run. As coming up from behind there is Bryce Reiner, losing the field here a little bit in 8th place, but that 3 of Shane Therian trying to come back through the field. He's worked himself up to net 8th place right now overall, but again, 2 laps down, trying to get one back the hard way, and then get in a battle to try and get that lucky dog and get back in the mix of this thing. But Jimmy Rode on lap number 27. These guys, it feels like they just went green not too long ago, and they've already clipped off about 18-20 laps since the start.
Yeah, it's really just what they need to do. They needed to settle down just a little bit and just get the thing going. And these laps are going to go by extremely quickly. The lap times here are, obviously fairly quick, as we're closing in on that 30 lap mark here of 80.
outside. Garrett Pick trying to move himself back up into third place around Alan Elwood, who is fighting him tooth and nail for this third place. But it looks like that middle lane, if you can get the good run through the corner, is really going to benefit you, obviously, on that exit. And a good pass there by the 440 to move yourself back up into third as field's starting to spread out here a little bit as we take a look through the field. Obviously, we've been keying on this top 8 here. Diego Remy kind of in between here, in between this top 8 and in 10th place. He sits there in 9th. James Seawright, we've seen him have the first spin here of the night, but good job battling back through here, back up into the top 10 right now as he's now going to make a pit stop here as the pit cycle may be starting here for the drivers. Josh Van Weston, we've seen plenty of him. It looks like he's finally shaken Tyler Kokego free, and Kokego now lost a couple more positions to both Caleb Collins and AJ Connors. As Caleb Collins, another one that had a pretty good run last week up there in P6 to finish out the race, and another one that survived the night for sure. Kevin Foster, for those 8-car fans, up there into 14th position, so up a couple spots from his 16th qualifying position. But he was one of the cars that came into the pits, and looks like he got most of that damage repaired. Not sure if he took a fast repair or not, but looks pretty clean on the front of that AC Delco number 8. Tyler Bramble right behind him there, and again, it's just love the paint scheme. It's a throwback for me, and reminds me of Sammy Swindell out there when he ran the channel up for both the truck series and his sprint car. But up here, 3 spots in 15th position for Tyler Bramble. John Williams Sr., another one after my own heart here in the Carolina scheme. I'm not going to stay on him too long. We know what that does, so we'll just go and skip by him. Up 3 spots here is the 57. Jeremy Gainey still doing pretty good up here in 17th, up 3 spots. Dan Phelps is one of the few that have fallen here in the race. He started in 14th, a good qualifying position, and he's one of those guys, Jimmy, that he's you see it more often than not. These guys that stick around in CORE long enough, you start to see guys get better. And I feel like Dan Phelps is one of those guys that you start to see the progression. And sometimes it takes a little bit for some of these guys where they come in here and they may feel overwhelmed, and some guys may drop out a little bit prematurely. But Dan's one of those guys. He's kept in it now for quite a little bit now, and you're starting to see some gains here for the 85.
Yeah, so starting to get some gains. He's just taking his time back there, just doing what he needs to do, and have himself a great race. But yeah, great flag pit stops on the way here. As you see, a lot of his cars really lock up them brakes, make sure they get slowed down so they don't get no penalties. Huge
move there by Garrett Pick, making the pass on the pit entry. As long as he got that thing rolled up in time, that is going to be a pass off the track that's going to pay dividends on the track. But Nico Garcia, one of the guys that is going to stay out there and continue on, as is Diego Remy, Tyler Kokeko, Kevin Foster are going to be your top 5 currently. But pit cycle certainly underway here, and now Nico Garcia going to peel off. Diego Remy going to stay out there one more lap. He's going to go ahead and lead a lap here on complete lap number 34. Caleb Collins still out there, excuse me, in second. You see right behind him is Kevin Foster, Tyler Bramble, as they have yet to come in, but Diego Remy is the only one that hasn't come in at all yet tonight. Caleb Collins all the way back to Jeremy Gainey have come in on one of the earlier pit stops, either on lap 7, 8, or 9. But Diego Remy really making that fuel stretch out here in the 82, and I mean, that could help if you're blanking out here and there. Maybe that's saving some fuel right there. But he's going to go ahead and complete yet another lap here. So, I mean, does this 82 have something in the works here, and maybe going to try and make this thing to halfway?
I mean, Carl, these drivers right now, the ones that have not pit, they're still out there. What they wouldn't do for a caution right now is a lot of drivers one lap down right now. So there's a big move out here by some of these drivers. So we'll see how things will kind of fall as a lot of these drivers kind of stretch their legs. Some of these drivers would come in just at the end of those caution laps there and really kind of extend this thing out, probably to be able to hit that halfway mark.
So of the drivers that came into the pits, Garrett Pick is your leader. Alan Elwood, Greg Jansick, Mike Moultrie and Nico Garcia are going to be the top 5. So it definitely a shakeup there at the front of the field. And Garrett Pick did not get a penalty there. But now we are close to having a battle here. This is Garrett Pick coming by, trying to get his lap back. As you can see, even at the front of the pack, he will lose a lap here going into the pits under green. So these guys are battling to get back on the lead lap, and see very close there. Jansen goes the inside of Foster, and here comes Moultrie as well. You see the difference of fresh tires is going to do is now John Crane peels off, gives up 5th place to come in to make it his pit stop. But the top 5 right now, Collins, Foster, Bramble, Williams, and Tony Bramble all have yet to come into the pits. Now looks like Foster and Tyler Bramble gonna come in, and that leaves just 3 cars out there. But it's really big. You know, if you catch this right, you catch a caution the right way, staying out here can pay some big dividends for these guys out here. But you worry and you wonder if these guys are looking at it as, oh, okay, if I can make this to lap 40, I just need to make this 1 pit stop and be done with it. But there was a lot of yellow flag laps in that first run, and you're not going to be able to make it on just 1 pit stop. And now you see Caleb Collins going to peel off, and John Williams going to join him in the pits. That will complete the pit cycle. And since then, we do have a change here for the lead. That is now going to be inheriting the lead, and that is the 5 of Alan Elwood. And try and take a look back and show you that pass, as this will end up netting him the lead. And first time we'll see the 5 out here in the lead tonight.
Yeah, so 5 using some strategy, and maybe they was laying back a little bit early there, let someone the mayhem go in front of them, and now finds the 5 back out front here. Yet again for the 4th week in a row, and can these drivers do what they need to do and put that 5 behind in their rearview mirror again this week.
Here was the pass that ended up being for the lead. As it's pretty interesting, we've seen now pretty much the entire race, the bottom line is the preferred line. You know, when you get that car all the way down to that yellow line, but pretty much all the passing we've seen so far has been from that middle line, Jimmy.
Yeah, it seems, especially with the newer tires, the middle line is a lot faster, and it might be some heavier tire wear being out there in there as the race went on. You know, you seen everybody was kind of down that inside. That's where the speed was. We're seeing the inside was where a lot of drivers were getting their passes, but the 84 now looking to the inside of the 44 to make the best.
Well, naturally, as soon as I say something, Moultrie's going to go in there and prove me wrong, as he gets it done there on the inside Pick, and he's going to move himself up into 2nd place. As your top 5 is going to be Elwood, Moultrie, Pick, Garcia, and Jansen here. We are past the halfway point here, so it's clicked by pretty quickly now that we've been under green. Already got our first green flag pit stop. Gonna be at least 1 more pit stop before we see this thing through, but the 5 back out in front and trying to reclaim some of his glory, trying to get another win here on the season, trying to get back to the points lead. But nobody is walking away here tonight. We've seen this top front of the field all be right under a blanket this entire time. And you see Moultrie right on his back door, not letting them get anywhere.
Yeah, he's had plenty of races on that back bumper of the 5, and tonight trying to be where the 5 is chasing the 84 around as he looks down to the inside as they head down the front stretch here past Barney. So yeah, right now just doing a great job trying to make things happen, trying to get that Team America up to the front and get that P1 here tonight.
Reviews here from the hood of the 84, now from the gearbox of the 5, and see that 84 getting ever so close in. But here comes Nico Garcia as well. Your 4th place starter here tonight, but seen a lot in the top 3 as he was looking there to the outside of Moultrie, but gonna have to fall back in line for the time being. Good racing up here at the front. We'll take a look back a little bit further in the field as AJ Connors trying to run down C right here. This is the battle for the 10th and final spot in the top 10. But taking a look at that track, we've got a pretty good spread of the field, and those Skittles, those M&Ms scattered all over the track right now. And for those that are new here to the coverage of the CORE Xfinity Series and wondering what those colored numbers and little colored dashes mean on the timing and scoring, even on the little dots going around the track, that is the divisions that these drivers are in. So the gold ones, obviously, they are in the gold division. The silver ones, self-explanatory, and then the bronze, same thing. All those drivers that are in red are still in the quote-unquote rookie division until they have their 5 races in and establish what division they'll be put in. So as soon as they establish that, they'll be moved, and their numbers will, or not their numbers, but their colors will change to either gold, silver, or bronze. But you see the cream at the top. The top 3 are in the gold division, and I mean, quite possibly could see that top 8 right there all in gold once everybody establishes their division. But it's been a good run so far here. Nico Garcia has now made the pass for the lead. We'll take a look and see how that happened. And good run on his teammate there of Alan Elwood. Dives down to the inside on the front stretch, using that apron just a little bit. And easy as you like here, off into turn number 1. He makes the pass, gets it done, and new leader out in front is the 51.
Yeah, definitely used that momentum to his benefit, and I'm sure Alan Elwood is gracefully allowed that 51 to get out front with no problems. Obviously, great run, buddy. Keep it going and follow him around here, and hopefully that 5 can catch back up to the 51 to continue his wins here for the season. But Nico Garcia wants a win as well, so 51 on Nico Garcia with no holds barred right now, gonna keep things going as we are on now at 49 of 80.
Yeah, Nico Garcia has been one of those guys. He's shown his face towards the top quite a bit, and even was in the mix a bit for the championship last season. But only thing he has to his credit, he has a win at Texas last season. In season 3, he had the pole and a win. He had a pole leader in the series at Road America, but only 1 win to the credit of Nico Garcia. And you feel like there should have been more, there could have been more. And maybe showing his signs here early on in the season. Gonna have 30 laps to go when they cross the line this time. But that 51 certainly has had speed last season and this season. Would not be surprised if he goes on a bit of a run just like his teammate Alan Elwood and maybe crack up a couple wins this season. It's great that we have a longer season, as we have 20 races in total this season as opposed to the 10 that we had last season. So it's gonna be, again, 15 regular season races. We'll have 4 playoff races and then 1 championship race to decide it all at Auto Club later in December this year, and give somebody an early Christmas present here. But right now, Nico Garcia looking to break away here a little bit. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is the biggest lead that we've seen all night, out to 0.6 seconds.
Yeah, so Nico Garcia definitely found something in the 51 here tonight, and out front he is. So they are chasing the number 51 here around tonight, and he would come in when everybody came in. He came in the lap after, so he was able to go 1 more lap farther. Not that the tire difference is much different, but he did manage to get out front before the pits cycle happened. So maybe it's the 51 tonight over the far.
Yeah, certainly Sprayam out there in the chat thinks it's going to be the 51 to beat here tonight. And Justin Kirby commenting there, and I tend to agree. It could be very interesting to see who decides to throw in some different strategy here and maybe taking only 2 tires here on this next pit stop. It should be right about in the middle of this last little run here, probably around lap 60 is where these guys will look to start coming into the pits. So yeah, you take a chance, maybe take 2 tires, run that last 20 lap stint on 2 tires, could end up netting you a good game here. But who is going to try that strategy? Who needs to try that strategy? I mean, right now, for Nico Garcia, do you take that chance? I mean, he's been running pretty good here tonight. It's tough when you're the leader out here, and especially now where he's either stretching out or at least keeping his lead at bay right now. It's hard to kind of go off strategy. You want to protect. You don't want to get beat by strategy, but you don't want to be that one guy that takes those 2 tires, all of a sudden everybody behind you takes 4, and they eat you up with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it's I guess a fine line now for the 51. You know, obviously having a great run and being able to pull away, and maybe realizing like, all right, I really do have some speed in this car, and everything's handling very well for me tonight. So, you know, maybe just backing off just a little bit and kind of being a little more reserved when tires the same towards the end, or you know, it still has to. You know, we know that they're probably gonna have to stop. At least one more time, but when is that window? When does that window of opportunity come up? It shouldn't be here shortly, as we're closing in on lap 57 here. So only 24 laps remaining. So should be soon.
It looks like the window is ajar, as Jancic is the first one to take to pit lane as leaders coming up here on some lap traffic. As Nick Garcia blinks out there, but certainly won't have any kind of issues there as you're coming up on lap traffic. But Craig Jancic early into the pits here. He is going to take 4 tires and come back out. So we'll see if the short pit works out there for the 97. He was running up there, I believe, in 6th place when he came into the pits. And you see how far you fall. 13 spots. You go down a lap. It is hairy trying for that short pit here. And you get any kind of caution, and it can really, really bite you. But James Seawright in the pits. Now Garrett Pitt, first one from the top 5 coming into the pits. Bryce Reiner going to come in and follow him. So the pit window, Jimmy, I believe is open here with about 20 laps to go.
20 laps, 22 laps remaining here as those drivers will come down here, and I think we'll see Nico Garcia thinking about coming down here, and he might be just keeping an eye on that 5. You know, well, another teammate, so they might even come in together. So we'll find out how things kind of develop here. But yeah, looking back here, back to the pack at Kevin Foster in that number 8 machine. Now currently sitting in that 8th spot. Was one of the last drivers come in last time, and you know, still out there now. Obviously, hoping that maybe a caution comes out, or maybe not. We'll see what that 8 machine has in store for the rest of this race.
Yeah, for those guys that went, you know, came in early under those caution laps and were able to run about 5, 6, 7 laps longer on that first run. For those guys, I really like the 2-tire strategy. I think that would really benefit them. They're not going to have that many laps on their tires, but, well, let's just go ahead and throw all of that out the window. Yellow flag is out, and it looks like it might involve John Crane. We'll take a look and see what happened here, as it happened before this. Yeah, it looks like it was the 11, so we're going to have to back this thing up and see what exactly took place here.
Maybe just a missed pit entry. Nope. Happened in front of him. The 11 was involved, but the incident was in front there.
Some hard racing there by the 114 of Seawright, and gets literally into the 39 of Bramble, and then a hard impact with the wall, hard impact with the 11. And it's going to send the Crane down through the grass. And let's jump back. Try that again and show you the motion right there. Just hard impact there. 11 has to take through the grass. You can see how bumpy and skatey it is. Not so much grip there on that green stuff down at the bottom, but 11 does get it stopped there, and it wasn't caution right away, but it looks like when he came back up onto the track, this is when the caution actually came out and tried to keep it all the way down there in the bottom, but it I guess it was a little bit too slow for the likings of iRacing, and put us under another caution here, and right in the midst of pit stops. Unfortunately for the guys that came in already, like Jancic, Moultrie, Pick, Reiner, they are all going to have some issues. And what exactly happened right there as we came back live?
Somebody got in the back of Kevin Foster as he was coming down into the pits. So
hopefully for Kevin, if he has the that fast repair, he may need to use it now before we get back out there on the track. But at the front, this is exactly what Nico Garcia wanted to see. He wanted to see a caution at this point. If there was anybody's strategy's kind of out the window, because now if you're deciding on taking those 2 tires, you can get that track position, you can maybe move up a few spots, but you're not going to get that huge time gain that you would have gotten had the thing been green. And see all of these cars right now in front of Nico Garcia waiting to take that wave around and get back on the lead lap. But man, for all those guys, like I said, you know, your Mike Moultrie, your Garrett Pick, Bryce Reiner, and all those guys that came in early, even Daniel Wiles, really kind of caught out here, and they'll be able to get back on the lead lap. But now you got older tires, now you're behind all of these guys as well. Man, just horrible timing for a caution.
Yeah, horrible timing for some, great for others, and we're going to see, you know, how things will pan out here tonight. Nico Garcia's been doing a fantastic job of leading here, and now he's on fresh tires, so what looks like it might be enough to make it to the end. So depending on how cautions fall, but only a few of them drivers will come around. You still got people towards the back that were kind of up front. Mike Moultrie is going to end up being towards the back. Garrett Pick and Rainer Seawright, a bunch of them drivers will now be towards the back of the pack and all to aggressively make their way through. Definitely enough time to make it happen, but you know, really aggressive driving, you know, bring out the elbows and the cautions.
We're under 20 laps to go right now, and I don't think I noticed it before, but I think on that last round of pit stops, Daniel Wiles ended up having a pit road penalty. That put him way in the back, so he ended up coming into the pits there, so he's still going to be a 1 lap down. He's not going to get away around here. He's going to be 1 lap down. He's going to be in the lucky dog position, but now he's going to have to battle it out with Shane Therian. Therian now back in the mix here. He is back to 1 lap down and in a chance to get back on the lead lap and get back in the mix of this thing as long as he takes his wave around. But he's going to need another caution to get that thing done, and he's going to need to be able to get around at 48, who has been fast when he's well, maybe a little bit too fast in the pits. But we are going to have about 15 laps to go when we get this thing back green, and I think it's going to get mighty interesting out here as we got some newer faces to the front. Chase Stewart now going to be restarting here in 2nd place behind Nico Garcia, or actually alongside Nico Garcia. Alan Elwood in 3rd, with Josh Van Westen way up there now, as he is going to be up in 4th. And you can't have Josh Van Westen without having Tyler Grigeko right behind him, as he's going to start in 2nd. And AJ Connors was watching those guys for a while. He's going to be starting in 5th. So that battle that we've been watching the longest time earlier on in the race back there in the back half of the top 10 is now in the back half of the top 5. Dan Phelps up there in 7th place. Caleb Collins in 8th. Jeremy Geaney, Tyler Bramble in your top 10. This is completely shaking up the order, and it always happens when you have a caution right in the midst of the pit road cycle. But Jimmy, are you ready for some good racing here to the end? I think it's going to get mighty interesting here, to say the least.
Yeah, it's been pretty good for racing so far. Obviously, a rough start to get going, but had a great run there in the middle of this race so far. And now the end is just going to be even more intensified with these drivers being all grouped back up. But yet, like they got thrown in a blender and they're all over the place.
We'll go ahead and jump on board. One of our drivers will jump on board with Caleb Collins back here in 7th place on this restart, and we'll let Nico Garcia get this thing fired off here and restart with 16 laps to go.
Green, green, green.
On the green, on the green pedal. On the right side of here, and the floorboard bears, they get back underway here. Nico Garcia out front over there, over Alan Elwood. And Stewart there trying to follow in P03. Van Westen going a little bit of a maneuver by Collins to avoid a driver in front of him.
Yeah, that was Kokeko getting into the wall, and a good save there by both Caleb Collins getting around him, and Kokeko bounced off that wall, almost getting collected. But I think it's about time, Jimmy, with only a few laps to go, that we'll go and leave this thing cranked up and give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it.
A little bit of love to hear it.
quick. A little love to hear it there as we are back under caution, and try and take a look as this one may involve a few drivers here. As of course it's not going to take us to where the caution is. But it is going to involve some of these drivers right back here, involving Garrett Pick, Mike Moultrie, Craig Jancic, Tyler Kokeko, all involved, and it looks like Pick and Kokeko get together right in front of Moultrie. It looks like Wiles gets lucky and gets to the outside there, but then just heavy impact there between the 84 and 97. Tons of sheet metal flying off and all over the place. And certainly going to need to be some fast repairs on all three of those cars if they still have them. Looks like the only 4 are getting involved right there. But that is going to take out some of the contenders here and make them have to go back in the pack and work even harder. And time is starting to run out here, Jimmy. We're going to be under 10 laps to go on this restart.
Yeah, unfortunately, another situation by some of the contenders up front, and they must do something up here at the end of this race in order to come away with a decent finish, because you never know when you really need to use one of those throwaway races and to have something where they were running so well at a track like Kentucky, be able to not be one of the tracks that they use for points.
Well, not so much for his teammate, but certainly for this man right here. He was happy to see this caution come out, as he was the lucky dog. Wiles will be back on the lead lap. We'll see what he's got left in the tank from that 48. Again, he was the pole sitter here tonight, was your points leader coming in tonight, but he is back here in 18th position. So he's got a lot of work to do to try and get some good results out of tonight, and especially when you got Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood in your top 2 positions. It certainly needs to make some hay here once this green flag drops. But it looks like for the drivers involved there, Mike Moultrie back out there with a clean car. Looks like Craig Jancic out there. He's got a clean car as well. Trying to take a look. Garrett Pick, his car all cleaned up as well. So those 3 having a fast repair. And it looks like Kokeko right behind those guys. Looks like all 4 did have a fast repair. No, it looks like the 37 still maybe scuffed up a little bit on that front end, but it doesn't look like too much damage for the 37. So hopefully he's still good to go and still be able to run this thing to the end. But it is going to be man, it's going to be crazy here to the end the way it looks. Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood, Chase Stewart, Josh Van Westen, and AJ Connors now your top 5. Kilo Collins, Tyler Bramble, Jeremy Gainey, and Garrett Pick, and Dan Phelps are going to be in the top 10, but that thing could shake up very quickly, and I'm sure it will. You got a lot of guys that have some speed now outside the top 10. Kokeko back there in 11th, Reiner in 12th, Jancic, Mike Moultrie, and James Seawright rounding out the top 15. And Kevin Foster back there in 16th, and then Daniel Wiles getting his lap back now in 18th position. Even Diego Remy, he is the first car, excuse me, a lap down. Shane Therian still 1 lap down. He's still got Diego Remy he's going to battle with to try and get himself back on this lead lap if we were to have a late caution and a green white checker to at least have a chance at gaining a few positions back. But should be getting the 1 to go this time by, and that means we're going to have 9 laps to go once we take that green.
And 9 laps to go, 18 drivers wanting to win here that kind of aren't eligible at the moment, but we'll see who comes out on top here at the end of lap number 80.
Lights are indeed out on the base car. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, and we've got a lot of good racing right now. We've got a few more leagues that are going to be starting up here pretty soon as well. So full slate of racing here for the boys at CRN, and that just means a full slate of racing for you guys out there, and plenty of things to watch here, and some great racing in all the leagues that we have, and especially here tonight. A little bit better. Still a few cautions out here tonight, but certainly a lot better than Indianapolis last week. So hopefully we can finish this thing under green, get you a good finish here tonight. But again, hit that like and subscribe, and you'll be able to see everything that CRN has to offer. And if you want to get a notification, just hit that little bell as well. And anytime that we have racing on there, it's going to be ringing a lot for you. I can tell you that right now, as we've got plenty on tap, whether it's me, whether it's Jimmy, John, Dylan. We've got a bunch, and we got a few new broadcasters coming into the mix as well, so we may end up picking up even more out there. So you're at the right spot if you like racing, and hopefully you're at the right spot to find a good finish here tonight. Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood on the front row. They are teammates, but I think that's out the window, Jimmy. We're under 10 laps to go. It's go time here at Kentucky.
Yeah, gloves are off, and a little bit of blinking there by the 40, which makes it very interesting there for the 193 weighted clubs.
Huge restart there by the 51 as he gets a good jump on the 5, but the 5 also gets a good jump in the 40. Yeah, 40 doing a lot of blinking on the inside right now of Alan Elwood, but looks like it cleans up here side by side for second place. Chase Stewart, Alan Elwood, but we've got a caution in the back. Looks like grouping, unless everybody saved it. No, now the 8 goes around.
Also heavy down on the wall there.
Certainly seen some mixing up towards the back of the pack. We'll take a look at it one more time and already see some cars there, and
it's like the 44.
Like it was a 44, but for some reason it would not.
He might have alt F4'd right out or just blinked out.
Yeah, the 44 into the back of the 39 pretty heavily right there, and I don't think that's the first time he's gotten into the back of the 39, but it's the fact that he's driving so far into him. Yeah, it seems like there's something going on there, but he ends up getting sideways in front of the pack, but he blinks out. So
right there in front of the 37, you see the hood kicked up and nobody was there.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're kind of along for the ride there, and then hard net code right there in between the 97 and the 8 sends Foster down to the inside. I mean, we'll rewind that one more time and show you how bad that was.
Yeah, you can see it, like, just even well before that, the 37 just taking some major front end damage.
Yeah,
from like nothing.
huge amount of room in between the 97 there and the 8, but that is going to put us under another caution here, and very well could bring us close to a green-white checker. Looks like it may be just before a green-white checker, but all these laps right now are music to this man's ears. He wouldn't mind this thing ending under caution as much as us up here, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see that happen. I don't think Nico would mind either way. A win is a win, but he is still leading. Alan Elwood in second, Chase Stewart. Hopefully that cleans up. There's a lot of blinking there by the 40. And then you got Josh Van Westen in fourth, AJ Connors, Caleb Collins, Jeremy Gainey, and James C. Wright, Bryce Reiner, and Dan Phelps going to make up your top 10. Just outside the top 10, making it through that, Mike Moultrie now in 11th. Tyler Bramble, Tyler Kokeko, John Williams, and Daniel Wiles are going to be in your top 15.
I mean, as a leader, you know, when these laps are coming down, obviously laps are clicking away. You know, it gives you the opportunity to, you know, if you're kind of excited or tense or leading and possibly winning here, as you know, it's not going to be no easy feat with the 5 on the heels of the 51. I mean, it's going to help just a little bit that they are teammates, but you know, like we said, you know, the gloves are probably off, and we'll see which one of those drivers can come up on top here tonight. That 40 looks like the internet has slowed down just a little bit for him as it's stabilized here as he's sitting there in P3. But Van Westen, you know, look at them go, you know, up there. You haven't talked much about them tonight, but sitting in P, number 4, and then you got some silver drivers back there for AJ Connors and Caleb Collins, you know, sitting in 5th and 6th, you know, looking to possibly get a win and you know, improve their core rating even, and maybe slide in up there with some of the higher rated guys this is showing that they have the consistency, to be up there with the rest of them. So having good races here tonight for AJ Connors and Caleb Collins.
Well, how about the bronze drivers here? Jeremy Gainey up 13 spots. He is in 7th place right now. And then you look back in 10th place, Dan Phelps, both guys in the bronze division, but finding themselves currently in the top 10 of this race. And we're going to have less than 5 laps to go. Should be getting the 1 to go this time by, so it will be 4 laps left in this race when we take the green, and hopefully it's the last flag that we see before the white and the checkered this time. But we are going to have a restart here. Should be 1 to go this time by. Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood, Chase Stewart, Josh Van Westen, and AJ Connor is going to be your top 5. But who do you think is going to win? Let us know. I mean, certainly a lot going on out there tonight, and yeah, Justin, it wasn't a DQ, as there is no X amount that these drivers need to adhere by in the series, but certainly some after race penalties could be in play for sure. But again, I mean, this thing was thrown on its head a couple times, and now it's thrown on its head one last time with 5 laps to go. How nice will Alan Elwood play out there? He's got 2 wins on the season, but coming off the rough race last week, I don't think he's going to just let Nico Garcia walk away with this one. But does he have anything to say? Nico has been very fast out here tonight. He wants this win bad, so we will see how this thing plays out. And oh, by the way, Chase Stewart would love to get up in the mix, as well as Josh Van Westen and State Claimant. Like Jimmy said, right there just outside that top 5 and even in 5th. 2 silver drivers would love to take it to these gold drivers and say, well, at least say that they can compete. Maybe not necessarily want to move up just yet and compete in the points, but they'll go ahead and grab a win from them and rub it in their face here a little bit. But the field coming around turn 3 and 4 one more time, and pace car going to be off. We're going to get this thing under green one more time. Hopefully it stays that way to the end. The field bunching up. It's in control by Nico Garcia. It's up to him when he wants to get on that loud pedal. We get to the Geico restart zone, and the 51 launches. We are racing again at Kentucky. Good launch there by the 51. Gets a clear lead. The 40 of Stewart going to get to the inside once again of Elwood, and that's exactly what Nico Garcia wants to see. Go ahead and battle behind me, boys. Let me stretch this thing out. 4 to go here at Kentucky.
4 intense laps still remaining here, as you can see in the back, going 2, 3 wide, trying to make things happen. Over the battle going here. Weston looking to the inside there. 2 by 2 they go. Top 3 trying to run away to secure their podium finish. Looks like Alan Elwood there, and P in the 3 behind Stewart. Dealing with a little bit of the connection issues there by the 40, but good run by these drivers so far.
Still side by side back here for 6th place, as Collins on the outside, and the 114 James Seawright looks like he's finally going to get on by, and Collins going to slot into 6th place here. But coming around this time by, it's going to be 2 laps to go. 2 sticks in the air right now at Kentucky. Can we make this thing back? There's certainly some hard racing going on right now. Look at the back half of the top 10, and Moultrie has made it back into the top 10. But take a look at our pole sitter here tonight. Your points leader, Daniel Wiles, creeping up there and threatening to get himself into the top 10. He's got some fresh tires on that thing. He is running hard, wants to at least salvage a top 10 out of this night. But still some good battling up front. 3 wide through turn 3. Come with a white flag.
Everything they can do, they're trying to do it now. They're moving, they're making moves, they're trying to make every little bit, every inch count. While back and forth, trying to make a decision on the fly.
This is all battling for 5th, all the way back to 11th right now. Up front, Nico Garcia is stretching out. He has got this thing in the bag, just a couple corners to go. To the inside goes Moultrie. Was 3 wide, it's 2 wide now, but coming off of the final corner, Nico Garcia gonna grab the win here tonight. Alan Elwood gonna be in 2nd, but 4 wide to the line. And give it slightly to Collins there for 6th, but man, 6, 7, 8, 9, all right there in line. Beautiful finish there. But Nico Garcia is the man that they could not catch here tonight. He grabs his first win on the season. Alan Elwood in second, Chase Stewart in third, Josh Van Westen, James Seawright gonna round out your top 5, but man, what a finish there. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, just all right there, right in line. Great battling all the way to the end. It maybe took a little bit, took a few cautions here tonight, but I think we had one hell of a finish, Jimmy.
Yeah, obviously the caution and grouping everybody up always, makes for a fantastic finish. People are really searching for that last inch or run to get that next position here towards the end. So obviously blows off, but they come across the start-finish line without wrecking each other, and that's all you can kind of ask for when it comes down to such close racing here, especially here right at the end.
Well, there's not much I can say bad about his driving in the race. I maybe have to detail his burnout here. It started with a little smack of the wall, so I may have to have Elwood work with him here on at least the start of his burnout, but he is burning it down right now. Well-deserved here for the 51 of Nico Garcia, as he was able to take down this field of some really good, tough drivers here tonight. We'll get these guys in here for their well-deserved interviews here in a moment, but I mean, we got this thing done in regulation in 80 laps, but it was not easy for the boys here tonight. A couple cautions out there, and certainly some wrecked cars, and some guys finishing a lot further back than they wanted to, and a couple guys had to fight back from a lap, 2 laps down, whatever it may be, but all in all, at the end, it ended up finishing out pretty nicely. But once again, another good run here for the CORE Xfinity Series, and this is only race number 4, Jimmy. We still got another 11 races just in the regular season.
Yeah, it's gonna, obviously decide who's gonna be fighting for a championship. Excuse me. That's 2 in a row. But anyways, oh, I think I just blew half my brains across it. But yeah, so definitely going to be interesting here as these drivers fight for that contention and get in the playoffs. And then it's a whole new ball game because everything kind of gets reset to 0 by those drivers, and we'll see who can overcome those last and final races, that stint there to walk away the champion for this season. But tonight, it was all Nico Garcia.
Oh, we'll go ahead and start bringing in our guys here for their interviews, and we'll start with 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 40 of Chase Stewart. And Chase, luckily, a little bit of blinking there towards the end cleaned up right there for that last restart, and you put in one heck of a battle. You got up there and you're battling with Elwood for 2nd place for quite some time, but on that last restart, it looked like Elwood just a little bit got the better of you, and you had to run there in 3rd. But in a fast number 40 out there tonight, are you happy with the finish of 3rd? Do you feel like one slipped away here?
A little bit. That first restart before the yellow, I felt like I was a little bit better than both of them. I think he got the wall a little bit off of 4, so I thought maybe if this went green to the end from there, I think that was about 10 to go, that I probably would have been in a little better spot. And then I cleared for 2nd, and then kind of like drove it in there, and I like realized it too late that I'm probably just going to push for the rest of the corner, and kind of just jabbed the brake and just lost all my momentum, and then got passed for 2nd. But not really. I mean, I was running maybe like right outside the top 5, and then that one caution with the pit stop stuff happened, so that kind of gave me a lot better track position, and I kind of just raced it out with them. But I think I'm fine with that, honestly. Maybe 2nd probably would have felt a little better just because that's where I was, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it was trying to be at the right spot at the right time, and the caution in the middle of the pit stops. How did that catch you out there? It certainly put a lot of guys in inopportune positions back there, a lap down, or at the back of the field there and having to work your way through. But you were not one of those drivers. You were able to skate through that and make your battle there at the end.
Yeah, when everyone started pitting, I still had about 5 laps left, so I was just kind of gonna run it out until maybe I had 2 laps left. And like, I know it screwed a lot of people. I know it got like Garrett and a bunch of other people, but yeah, I was kind of just gonna wait it out anyway, and I didn't know that was gonna happen. I figured because we were pretty deep into our run that might just go green to the end from there. So yeah, it kind of surprised me, but it didn't hurt me in any way because I just pitted from third and came out from third, and that was it pretty much.
Well, you get third here tonight, and a good podium finish here, especially with how these last 2 weeks have been. It's been a little bit of a not necessarily caution fest, but it's certainly better this week than it was last week. And you have to be at the right spot at the right time, and we're certainly there. And hopefully, we can get the car not to blink as much at the end there, because it was certainly it was scaring me. I'm sure it was scaring both Nico and Alan there at the front, but. You blink your way to a third, so it's not too bad out there. But congrats on your podium finish here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I'll thank James Stewart again for the paint. I think he might have been a little bit of a weapon out there, but he makes some pretty good paint, so I'll thank him. And yeah, I don't know why it was so bad. It didn't really start blinking until like 10 to go, and I was under yellow task manager and everything, and just trying to figure out why it was doing that. But I'm happy it survived to the end.
Absolutely, and everybody else survived around you as well. Well, once again, congrats on the top three. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That is your third place finish here tonight, the 40 of Chase Stewart. Second place is going to be the 5 of Alan Elwood. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and take Alan?
Hey, Alan, Jimmy, and Carl in the booth. Copy.
I got you guys.
Well, after last week's, I guess, put your head down and kind of make sure you try to not repeat that show from last week. You walk away tonight in P number 2 behind your teammate, which seemed to have that car on lock and on fire here tonight. So why don't you give us a little bit of rundown on how your night went for you as you were chasing that number 51?
Yeah, haven't ran a whole lot of laps here in my career, so I didn't expect to have that blow away pace like maybe some of the other tracks I've had, and it showed in qualifying. I tried something different, and it didn't quite work out, so I didn't get that lap that I wanted. And there at the start of the race, everybody was really aggressive. Everybody's trying to get wherever they can, because it is kind of tough to pass here. You really have to set up the corners right to actually get a run and get around somebody truly on pace on the green. So everybody's just digging and clawing, trying to fight their way up, and I've kind of fell back a little bit there, and I was kind of getting irritated at myself letting that happen. But I knew that we had pit stops coming up, and luckily we got to a green point, let some strategy play out, and I probably could have went one lap longer like Nico did, but ultimately I decided to pit. I wasn't really going to chance it because it was really tight. And he played it right. I was telling him there before I came up here that, he played it right. He got out and pitted one lap later than the rest of us, got back around us on pace and tire, and ultimately I think that's what ended up setting him up for the win. And it's just, all about being, hitting your marks, being consistent, and, closing the deal is ultimately the biggest thing with these races. Is if you got the pace to do it, you got to close the deal. You can't make mistakes, because there'll be somebody to pounce on it. So I'm really happy for the 1-2, and really happy that Nico got the win. He deserved it. He was quick all night long, and yeah, I'm really happy with especially the 1-2 finish for the team. That's great.
There you guys walk away to finish here. Obviously yourself there, P number 2. A lot of your early competitors for the beginning of the race ended up, getting involved in the back, and trying to work their way through the field, and unfortunately was not able to get back up and compete with you guys. So, but you still had the 40 yourself and Nico Garcia up there fighting for this win here tonight. And so from CRN, we just want to say congratulations on that P number 2, and give you a little bit of time for any shots you might have on that number 5.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Just again, it's every week, Simrat Market on the cars. Being a designer there at over simratmarket.com. Grab a base, get started painting, now. No better time than now to do it. Just get yourself a base over there and get yourself a new paint. Everybody on the team, again, Nico, super huge shout out for him getting the win tonight. The guy deserves it. He's had speed all season, and even back to last season. So I'm really happy that he closed the deal tonight and got that dub, and really hoping that Shane's luck will turn around. He'll get on pace for a win at some point this season. The guy's got the speed to do it too. So if we could just get him up front, I think he can do it. And then you guys up here in the booth, appreciate you all every week putting on the broadcast for us and the fans, and everybody here at the league. And yeah, let's move on to IRP.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely move on IRP, and again, a shout out to all your sponsors and everything out there, like you said. So, but again, congratulations here from CRN, and we'll see you next week at IRP.
Thanks, guys.
That's your second place finish here tonight, the 5 of Alan Elwood. Last but not least is your winner here tonight, the 51 of Nico Garcia. Nico, it seems like it's been a long time now, and you can finally shake off Pocono. I know it wasn't a good run there at Pocono, finishing way back in the field, but last week you survived the melee, you finish in second place, and maybe for some of the naysayers, okay, whatever, you beat Alan Elwood, but it wasn't on sheer pace. Here, you had him on pace. You took down the defending champ. You took down the man that seemed like he's just too tough to tame. You got him here tonight. So I mean, you got to rub it in a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'll rub it in, not too much. I still want to drive next week, so But no, I mean, I think every week we come out. I mean, he is one of those guys to beat. So I mean, to come out, run good. I mean, the car just felt so good tonight. I felt very comfortable tonight. Just felt like everything was working very well. But no, I mean, I had a ton of fun racing tonight. But yeah, beating Alan is always a good feeling because I know he's probably one of the fastest people in the lobby. I mean, he'll deny that, but he's definitely one of the fast guys out here. That you should strive to beat every week, because he is fast.
I mean, I'm starting to see a little chinks in the armor, though. I mean, last week finishes way back in the field. This week doesn't even get the pole. I mean, he seems very, very beatable at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. He's human. That's for sure. He's starting to show that he's human a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys. I think last week got caught up in some mess last week. So, if he's towards the front, I mean, he's dangerous. So if you can kind of keep him behind you a little bit and maybe towards, within the 10 to 15th position. But no, I mean, if he's up at the front, he's going to be someone to mess with every week. And hopefully we can give him a run for his money this season. Feel a little bit more confident than we did last season, so that's good.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you showed some pace last season and certainly showing pace this season. So congrats on the win here tonight. And it wasn't exactly easy. I mean, there was some yellows mixed in here as well, and especially the yellow that happened right in the midst of the pit cycle. Did that kind of set you up and help you out and take away maybe some of your competitors here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I took I put in a lap later than some of the other guys tonight on that first stint. I saved a little bit more fuel, so it felt a lot better for me to pit an extra lap. And then coming out of pits, on that first stint, I had to catch the leaders. I had a bad stop actually. It was a little bit slow, but I think that pit stop or the caution that came out right when second round of pits were going to happen. I think that kind of threw everybody into a frenzy there. But you have to pit. I mean, you can't not pit right there, and you kind of just got to hope that when that second caution comes out, you just kind of hope you got enough fuel to make it to the end, because if you don't pit right there, you don't know if there's going to be another caution or what. So you kind of have to roll the dice and pit right there, grab tires, fuel, and see what happens.
So, I mean, with the amount of competition here in the league this season, it seems like it's growing every week, let alone every season. How tough is it going to be to duplicate these kind of runs here? I mean, you certainly got speed out there, but I feel like there's 10 different guys that can win every single week.
Yeah, 100%. The competition this season it's stiff, it's tough. There's some guys out here that it can be anybody's race at this point. There's I think the new team that came in, guys like Craig Jancic and some of the other guys that were up at the front today. Those guys are fast. They're no joke. They're going to be out there every week. They're competing, and they're very, I don't want to say super aggressive, but they know how to drive for sure. When you're around them, they're quick. So yeah, I think this season to replicate finishes and results like this, it's going to be difficult. You have to show up every week, be very, very determined, very, very concentrated, very locked in, because these guys, they're out here to win. So definitely got to return the favor on that for sure.
Well, certainly a little better finish here tonight than on Sunday for sure. You get the win here tonight. So once again, congrats on that, getting it done here, and we'll give you some time to give any shout outs or thanks that you may have.
For sure, yeah. So big shout out to Alan Elwood and the EDE guys. Put me in a very fast Toyota Supra tonight. It was fantastic to drive that car. Big, just love those guys over at EDE. Simrat Market, definitely those are guys. Again, our cars look good every week because of those guys. So definitely jump over to the simratmarket.com website, check those guys out. Start painting your own cars today. Start looking good on track. AJ over at Roderick Racing Development, awesome guy. Say it every week. I just love the guy to death. He's an awesome dude. And then you guys up in the booth again, another awesome broadcast. Hopefully I see you guys up here to broadcast a little bit more often this this season. But you guys do an awesome job up here, so thank you guys.
I mean, back-to-back weeks is certainly a good way to kick it off here. But yeah, I mean, I look fast, drive fast is what I was always told. So maybe certainly worth looking into to Simrack Markets there to get your paints done, and it's clearly working for you guys, finishing 1-2 tonight. So go ahead and celebrate with your teammate here, and certainly make sure you rub it in before you guys get to IRP next week.
For sure. All right, guys, have a good night.
You too, buddy. That's your winner here tonight, the 51 of Nico Garcia. Jimmy, once again, another run here tonight by these drivers here in the CORE Xfinity Series. It's a couple cautions out here, but a lot of good hard racing, and I mean the four-wide battle to the end. A lot of different leaders out here tonight. It's what you like to see, and especially under the lights here at Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know. Lights are just always fun. It keeps the track cooler. It allows the drivers to kind of maintain them tires a little bit longer without getting too loose. And tonight, obviously, they had some cautions that kind of helped that out as well. But either way, 51 walks away the winner here tonight, and it's definitely good to see that they finally get that win on the season. They all followed by Alan Elwood and Chase Stewart, obviously, as we already talked to them. But we can't forget the rest of the field as Josh Weston in P number 4, then James Seawright, Caleb Collins, Bryce Rayner, Mike Moultrie, AJ Connors, Daniel Wiles, finishing in P number 10, trying to hold on to that championship lead right at the moment. And then Jeremy Gainey, Diego Remy, Tyler Bramble, Kevin Foster, Tyler Kokeko, Dan Phelps, Shane Theron, John Crane, Aaron P number 18, and then Tony Bramble, John Williams Sr. finishes in P number 20, Peyton Strickland, Joseph Thomas, Craig Janzik, and Garrett Pick obviously getting involved in some incidents there, taking them out of the race. So we'll see them, I'm sure, next week up front at IRP. And then also you have Cody Jacobs and Casey Phelps.
That is your 26-car field here tonight, and it was a good one, unfortunately, for some of the guys, just like it always is. Maybe not the night that they would have wanted to have, but certainly the night for some of these guys up front. I mean, Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood, certainly we see those guys up front quite a bit, and Chase Stewart a little bit newer here to the series, but starting to see his prowess up there. But guys like Josh Van Westen, James Seawright, good to see them up there. A couple silver guys in the finishing in the top 10. Caleb Collins in 6th. You got AJ Connors back there in 9th, and then even Jeremy Gainey. He had quite a good night here tonight, finishing just outside the top 10, but started in 20th, finished in 11th. So certainly a shout out there to the 45 team. That is gonna put a wrap and a bow on the race here tonight. It was another good one here, and again, this was only race number 4. We've got another 11 races on tap just in the regular season, and it's going to all start out next week at Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park. A little bit of short track racing, 115 laps, and I would expect a little bit of bumping and banging there for sure. A little bit of short track racing. So get your popcorn ready for next week. But that is going to do it here tonight for myself and Jimmy here in Sparta, Kentucky. We'll see you at the track.